Good evening and welcome to the Go Tave Real Deal Footy Show. Tonight, a different approach to how we normally go about our business. I'm on the middle of Deacon Reserve with John Ryan. JR, how are you, mate?
Foxy, how are you? Look, it's great. We're just waiting for training to start, and also tonight on our show, we're going to do the top 50, so it's going to be an exciting night. Along with Morph and Mario, they're going to walk around the ground and just show a few spots where you play on Deacon Reserve. Well,
the bonus win will be crossing to Mario and Guy Morford shortly, but the bonus is Mario played a lot and coached a lot of football here and has been involved in Interleague tournaments. And Guy last year coached Uriah to the premiership in the Golden Valley Football League. So it should be a great show for you this evening. Plus, as John Ryan said, the top 50. Are you in it or have you missed out? Also, we'll be going through the ins and outs of the Interleague side. I'll be talking to Travis Ryan, the coach of the Interleague.
Yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting league, and we'll talk later on a bit the ins and outs of the GVL side. They've got quite a few injuries at the moment, Foxy, but it opens up chances for other players to come into the side. So look, it's going to be a really exciting show. I'm really looking forward to the show tonight because we're going to have a lot of special stuff in it.
Should be really good. We've also took a trip to Echuca last week. I want to be able to show you their clock towers. You are going to see a side of Jackie Boy Sheldon that you haven't seen before, let me tell you. And the two girls that got out of the back of his car, well, you just wait until you see them. Promise to be a beauty. Caught up with Jamison Daniels here last week as well. We've got a bit of a shot there of Jamison. Doing a good job at that, Johnny, isn't he, really?
Yeah, look, he's doing a terrific job. He hasn't got many cattle to work with, but I think give him 12 months, and I'm already told that next year they're on the move, and they've got quite a few on the move, Foxy. So I think they'll be side to reckon with next year.
When we get inside and get a little bit warmer, we'll tell you where you can watch the live stream of two great games of football in the WorkSafe Country Championships this week. But for now, I'm going to cross to Mario and Guy. They're in the centre of the ground, right here at the Deacon Reserve.
Okay, well here we are tonight with Mario de Santarana out on the home of the Golden Valley Deacon Reserve. Big week in footy this week, Mario, and None better than interleague training.
Oh, it's a huge night tonight for the boys, isn't it? Final selection. I think they'll probably got the squad sorted out, but the boys find out for sure tonight, so they'll all be trying to impress.
For sure, mate. We wanted to do something a little bit different tonight and just speak about Deacon Reserve and how you play this ground. And probably for people who don't know Mario with his experience in the Golden Valley, no better bloke to talk to. And the ground itself, tell us a bit about how you think it's best to play Deacon Reserve.
Oh, look, I think Deacon Reserve's a tricky ground to play. Like, if you get caught out wide, you can end up in trouble. One of the secrets of Deacon Reserve is coming out of the back line, don't bring it back into the corridor too early. If you do and you turn it over, it's a certain goal on this ground. Centre forward, hardest position to play on Deacon Reserve. You either got to play up or deep, one or the other. If you play up, you're almost a fifth midfielder. But if you speed and space, that's a secret to Deacon. You would have known that last year more from playing in the grand final. You're coaching the grand final side. You've got to move the ball quickly.
Yeah, we did. I remember last year here, Mario, with it on grand final day. What Deacon can be a little bit renowned for is getting these really big crosswinds, these westerlies. And for the viewers who were here last year, there was a really thumping crosswind across the ground. And I think what you've got to do then as players is adjust your game, and as coaching staff, then adjust how you play this ground. And as you said, I think from coast to coast on this ground, you can move the ball so quickly that if you miss a kick on this ground, it can be very damaging.
Yeah, look, errors and turnovers here, they'll kill you. So whoever's got the skill level up early in the game, because the pressure will be on. Midfield, really important. Clean hands in the middle on Deacon Reserve. Straight out of the middle, bang, you're inside 50. Guys like Madden and that, they'll love that. If we can get it in quickly, the GV boys will hit the front. If they don't, then Geelong might take it away. So they've got to be careful there.
Mate, as a coach, what if you were Travis Ryan right now, what would you be saying to the boys on their final session here tonight?
I'd be saying, let's just focus on getting the voice up and, just building it up, nothing silly. We don't want any injuries tonight. Just be nice and clean with the skills level and just enjoy the moment, and then let's get into it.
Well, there you are. You've heard it from none only from the legend of the Golden Valley and yours truly, Morph. And it's going to be a ripper game this weekend. If you're around, get down to Deacon, have a look at the cream of the crop within our league, and back over to you, Foxy and Travis.
Well, the 23rd of May going to be big day in the history of the Go Tave Golden Valley Footy League. The man who's in charge, Travis Ryan. How are you, Trav?
Yeah, good, Foxy.
Well, mate, you were a couple of days out from the big challenge, and for number one spot, you've walked this walk before. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Obviously, the last week into it, you're getting the side together and seeing who we've still got available and fit. So, it's all going pretty well at the moment.
The forecast is good. That'll suit the way we play a little bit up here, do you think?
Yeah, no doubt. Fine and sunny, so that'll be good. Good weather to run and carry the footy. So I think that'll suit us.
Now, the last time we played Geelong, we were down on their ground down there. Is there anything that stood in your mind that they had then that you had to address this time around?
Oh, probably not. Realistically, last time they got away to a flyer and we matched with them for the rest of the game. So, obviously in this type of footy, you've got to get off to a good start. So that's what we'll be concentrating on Saturday.
Now, you could be playing at a better ground, Deacon Reserve. We know it probably better than most here. It's a fantastic facility. There's no doubt about that. Do you think that'll play a little bit of a role in our favour? Oh,
probably not, given that, there's not too many blokes that play here every week, basically. So some of the blokes that we got in the squad wouldn't have played on the ground this year, and so it might be a slight factor for us, I think. But it's obviously good to be playing at home. But I don't think it'll be having that much of a bearing.
Well, they're a Premier Division, we're a Premier Division, and both sides would be full of talent. There's no doubt about that. Leg speed will come into it. Have you incorporated a fair bit of leg speed into the side? Yeah,
we've got a pretty good running side. Most of the blokes we've lost in the last week or so with a couple of hamstring and injuries and that sort of stuff have all been bigger blokes. So obviously our focus early on was that our runners would be pretty good, and that's probably where the main thing is going to be for us.
Now, Trev, just for the people that aren't here and they don't realise, and I certainly do because I haven't coached at your level, but I've certainly been involved in selection, how many behind-the-scenes hours are there? And I hope you've got a plan with Telstra for the telephone calls.
The phone goes pretty hot. It's been pretty good the last couple of weeks especially, but it's a lot. We put a lot of work in. We've got a good crew together, and we start in pre-season games and then work through to now. So it's a good 10 to 12 weeks of work. So we jump into it and give it 150%, as most other coaches of the other representative leagues do too. So there's a lot of hours involved. So the good thing about it is it's round 6 or 7, and then you're over, you're done for the year. So that's probably one good thing.
Seems like such a long time ago. We were up at the Rumballara ground watching United play against the boys from the O&M, and I don't think people realise just how many hours work there are involved in it. And collectively, it's not a one-man job. You've got to have great faith in your selection team. You've got to work hard together. You've got to get the boys to training. It's a huge commitment, and I'm sure that everybody in the whole competition, Trav, I know you've got a particularly big night tonight. It's your last night on the park before Saturday. I know from where I stand, and the whole Golden Valley community are right behind you, and we wish you all the best, mate.
Thanks, Foxy. Good on you.
Good on you, Trav.
Thanks, bud.
Travis Ryan, he is the Interleague coach, and get behind him on Saturday. Big crowd down here at the D.
Love Aussie rules footy? Are you retired as a former player? Do you go to secondary school? Then here's a career for you. The Goulburn Valley Football Umpires Association invites you to join their team. Umpiring positions for young men and women or adults with a good level of fitness to become boundary, goal or central umpires. Get paid for doing something you love. Call the GV Umpires Association today.
Welcome to the Real Deal Go TAFE Goulburn Valley Football Show. Bigger table tonight. On my left, Guy Morford. How are you, Guy?
David, really well. I'm a bit excited this week with the Interleague and JR's top 50. We're up and about, boys.
Mario Di Santana,
Foxy.
welcome on board, mate.
Great to be here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big show. Interleague footy. You've been up there, haven't you, in junior level, or not junior level, certainly under 18.
Under 18, yeah, huge.
John Ryan down the end. John, we'll be talking about the Interleague a little bit later on, but it's the night that people wait for. This is it. Yep. This is bigger than Christmas. Tonight is a night for the top 50. But before we get there, let's have a look what happened last week. Rochi were too good for Benalla by 34 points. Euroa in a thriller over Marupna by 4 points. The Swannies too good for Mansfield by 46 points. Shepparton, I was there at that one, thumped Echuca by 72. Kyabram by 59 over United. Seymour by 72 over the luckless and winless Tatura at this stage. It sees our ladder like this. Rochester on top, undefeated on 24. Kyabram on 20. Marupna, the Swans and Euroa all on 16. Benalla next on 12. Seymour on 12. United on 8 with Mansfield and Echuca. Shepparton have now got 4 points and Tatura with no points on the board. Our leading goal kickers, Big Harry Madden has held on to a 1-goal lead. He's on 32. Billy Burston on 31. Josh Mellington on 21 and Stephen Strubad is on 20. So that's it. That's what happened last week, Johnny, and no real surprises, I guess, when you weighed up.
Oh, no, I thought Rochester went across and had a look at Rochi and Benalla, and Rochi are better of a side, boys, than I thought they were. They're the real deal. I think next week it'll be unbelievable. Well, after Interleague, Swans and Rochi, I'm really looking forward to that game, which I'll go and have a look at. But no, they're the real deal, Rochester. They're very quick.
Mario, and they've got super fitness, and he's got them playing as a unit, and some of the young blokes have really stepped up, which is a credit to him.
Good side.
Guy, you were there for your Arasula against Maribna. Must have been a great game of footy.
Yeah, it was a real good game of footy, boys, and I'll tell you now, what I learned on the weekend, Shane McDonald is an out-and-out superstar. He kicked 6 goals from the midfield, pushing forward on the weekend. This bloke can seriously play. He's got a damaging foot. He's built like Paul Chapman, and I tell you what, yeah, it was a good game of footy. It was a really good comeback. Coach kicked 4 goals in the last quarter, which was a bit of a surprise, and I think it might have been a surprise for you blokes because none of you blokes tipped your old, did you?
No, I think I did, but anyway,
I don't think you did.
Mario, so talking about McDonald, he's going to be a big loss in the Interleague.
Yeah, absolutely.
Massive.
Good player.
Mario, the Swans way too good for Mansfield.
Look, it was a really big win for the boys up there. It was a danger game with 2 or 3 big outs. They lost overs just before the game as well with a bit of a strained hamstring. Bell out with a week, took a week suspension. Really made it difficult for them, but they pulled together, and the Harry Madden show continued.
Yep, he's going along beautifully. There's no doubt about that. Well, I was lucky enough to go up to Echuca. And let me tell you that Echuca football ground, it is going to become a premier arena in this competition. Got a couple of things I'd like to show you. First off, have a look at the lights, the new lighting system that they've put in. I was there with young Matt Pollock. Matt's out with a hamstring injury at the moment. You can see the jib fully extended here on the crane for the height of the towers. Have a look at the old lights compared to the new lights. And then we got into the basket and up we went up the top, and I said to Matt, I've never been up this high before.
Must have been a strong jib.
Yes, it was. And we took a shot from upstairs, and Matty said, it's an enormous view. Don't worry about the footy, you get a real good shot of the netball courts here. And then, as diligent as I am, I stood around until night time and had a look at the ground lit at night, and it is, as you can see, truly magnificent. But Johnny and Mario and Guy, I'll tell you, I was absolutely shocked on Saturday. I was walked into a luncheon at Echuca, and I struck a man half naked.
Oh no!
No,
what's happened?
Not Jack.
It was Jack.
Oh no!
Flash Sheldon. Now,
not
Jack,
the car park, was he?
Yeah, in the car park.
Running late.
He was in the car park. Now have a look at Jack here. And I might tell you, I didn't realise how cold it was till I saw Jack standing there in his Reg Grundies. And I said, Jackie boy, you naughty boy. I don't know what I'm going to do with this photo, but his mum started giggling. And there was a nice young girl that was there with him. But to my surprise, just as I walked up came the back door of the panel van, and have a look at the 2 senoritas that got out of the back of that. Well, Jackie, we have to talk, son.
Oh, Jackie.
He's hitting the bum.
I tell you what.
On the worst footy trip, would you?
I reckon he's a chip off the old block.
No, but it was a great day up there, and
they're very understanding up at Echuca.
Yeah, my word, they are. And it was a great day, and I've got to tell you that the big fella, the coach, Briggsy, spoke at the thing and spoke with power and passion about that club, and they're in very well placed at Echuca, believe you me. And then another fella that I caught up with here on the ground here last week, and he's keen to learn how to do ballroom dancing, and I'd speak of young Jamison Daniels. I was teaching young Jamison the famous foxtrot. You can see in the photo here, that's me and Jamison in the middle of the D doing the old fox trot.
And while we're there, Foxy, we have a few Cheerios just to Keith and Jeannie Wellman.
Yep.
Send them Cheerio, wonderful people, and I know Jeannie's still buying Keith the All of You lamb, so keep it up, Keith.
Oh, and we would need a bucket load.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess without much further ado, I'm going to start on what we recognise as being the top 50. Now, John.
Should have a drum roll, shouldn't it?
We left the drum at home, but, John.
Yes.
Explain to the people your criteria.
My criteria is pretty simple. I'm just going on players in form, boys. I take the best players every week, and when I say I take the best players, obviously you can't be to every game, so you take the best players from each club, what they put in the paper, which I also take their goal kickers. So I've taken all these players on their performances by what the clubs have put forward. And the only other criteria is the medal winner for this one starts at number 1. So Will Martinello will start at number 1. because he's the medal
That's
winner.
fair.
And in the second one, when we do it in the very last game or the very last show, we'll do the top 50 again, which will change. Last year there was about 25 changes, I think, and this will happen again. But at the moment, these are the players I believe that are in form in the league, and that's why they're in the top 50.
Johnny, how's your sleep pattern been this week, mate? I hear I spoke to Noel the other day and she said she'd sent you out to the bungalow.
Couldn't
get any 40 winks in.
And people think it's just straightforward and you write this down. It's been a few weeks' work, and this one's been pretty difficult, I can tell you. And there's some few fellas in here that people mightn't even know who they are, but they're in form at the moment. So, David, I'll cross over to you to read them out.
Number 50, Bart Phillips from Echuca. 49, Heath Aiken, Rochester. 48, James Martinello, Benalla. 47, Braden Grenfell, Seymour. 46, well done big fella, Mark Jones from Mansfield. 45, Ash Holland from Shepparton. 44, Jason Cole from Seymour. 43, Daniel Anderson from Rochester. 42, Harrison Wheeler from Seymour. 41, Matt Pollock from Echuca. And number 40, Shane Neves from United. Mario, any surprises here to you?
Oh no, but I think there's probably a couple of unknowns, as you said there, JR, wasn't there? Like young Bart Phillips.
Yep,
is one. He's a boy from the thirds a couple of years ago up at Echuca, who's held his own for the last couple of years. He has been in the best, hasn't he?
Well, he's been in their best 5 times, Mario.
I'll tell you about Bart Phillips. He was looked at as a junior in very high esteem, and then he went away to study in Ballarat, played footy in Ballarat, and came home to his beloved Echuca. He's now a qualified school teacher, and he's one that could get under the guard of people, but there was no surprise to anybody there. He's the sort of boy you go out, you say at the end of the day, gee, he featured a bit, and it's him. He's
been playing a big role too.
Yeah,
he's been playing a big
down
role.
back.
Yeah, and if you look at it, just remember, we've only played 6 games, so if he's been in their best 5 times, you can't do much more than that, can you?
I'm happy to see Jason Cole and Harrison Wheeler make the top 50 as well, and of course, he mightn't be the dominant star type player, but the big fella, Mark Jones from Mansfield, very underestimated player. You've seen him?
Yeah, no, good player. JR, just tell us about Jason Cole and the criteria for this. Obviously, he's been in the best 3 times, Jason Cole, but just so the viewers know, how does a player actually move himself up in the list from, let's say, Jason Cole, for example, at 44? How does he get himself up to, say, a 20 player?
When, as in the next one or this one?
Oh, yeah, or in this one. So how did you rate that?
Well, I rated him for the reason being, I think Jason at this stage probably only played 4 games. He hasn't played the 6th. I think he had 2 suspensions at the start. So I just rated him on that area with his 3 games, and I've seen him a couple of times. I seen him a couple of weeks ago. I thought he played really well, and I thought at this stage he was round about number 44. But I think he's a very good player. He's the sort of player that could play interleague football quite easily, I think.
Okay, let's go through the next 10 at number 39. Adam Bashevsky, the Mansfield Footy Club. 38, Dylan Williams from Rochester. 37, Nick Colstock from Kyabram. 36, Nick Snowden from Euroa. 35, Josh Mellington from Benalla. 34, Jamison Daniels from Tatura. 33, Nathan Moroney from Rochester. 32, Justin Sherman from Kyabram. 31, Ryan Thompson from Mooroopna. 30, Jordan Williams from Kyabram.
Yeah, just a couple there, boys, I'd like to throw up to you. Dylan Williams and Nathan Morone. I reckon they've been really, really good for the Rochester Tigers. Dylan Williams has kicked 6 goals. He's been in the best 3 times. Nathan Morone's kicked 3 and he's been in the best 3 times. But these are 2 young players that I reckon have been given their head. Nathan Morone's coming out of the back line. I went and had a look at him last week, and Dylan Williams, he's going through the midfield. He's doing a really good job. And Nathan Morone, he's creative running off the half-back line and also going through the midfield. That's why I put the 2 boys in there. I like to give young blokes some credit, and I reckon these 2 kids thoroughly deserve to be in the top 50.
Yeah, I agree, JR. Looking through that page, the first page there, Rochi have featured 4 times already. So I love how Rochi can produce players from their own homegrown pedigree without having to necessarily go and get recruits. And you're right, I watched Dylan Williams the other week, he railed boys, and Zippy uses a footy well. You know, clubs like Rochi, full credit to. Yeah,
and players like Ryan Thompson off the half-back flank goes through the midfield route, and I've seen him a couple of times, and I reckon that he's been pretty good. Josh Mellington, I seen him last week. I thought He was really, really good for the Benalla side last week. It's as good as I've seen him play. But, I don't know if there's anyone else there you want to ask me about, boys.
Any surprises there for you, Mario?
Nah, look, I'm just rapt to see Dylan and Nathan in there. Both boys represented the league in under-18 rep footy there a couple of years ago and have obviously cemented themselves in that senior squad over there, which is, with the talent they got, it's a great effort.
Oh, yeah, terrific.
Okay, now, I read number 30 was Jordan Williams from Kyabram. Now, 29, let's have a look at this one. We will go Daniel Willis from Shepparton. 28, James Martin from Benalla. 27, Johnny Akupu from Euroa. 26, Tommy Priest from the Swans. 25 is Tom Bonghetti from Seymour.
Tim,
sorry about that, Tim. My uncle Tom over here has put...
Looks like JR's made a mistake.
Yeah, that's it. Fancy that, can you believe that? 24, and this is no surprise to the bloke alongside me, we'll talk about him in a moment. Ben Barker from Euroa is number 24. Simon Buckley from Echuca on 23. Adam Tarrant on 22 from Euroa. Steve Struban from Rochi is number 21. Tommy Sheldon, the brother of the Pawn King from Kyabram, is on 20. And Guy, tell us a little bit about Benny Barker. Unknown?
Yeah, a bit of an unknown. Probably not so unknown now. I think he's getting his name around the GV. He probably came into the league this year, obviously a little bit unknown, but boy, he's been a really good recruit for Euroa, and each week at the moment he's probably getting the number 1 or 2 forward and really doing a number on him. So, yeah, no surprise for me, Ben Barker being in there whatsoever.
Have you seen any of those boys run around?
Oh, look, Daniel Willis, I'm a fan of the way he plays his football.
He's kicked 18 goals.
Kicked 18 goals for a side that's redeveloping, as we know, with Shepparton. He's a sensational footballer, and, I think it's great to see him. Good to see Tommy Priest, the Swans boy, in there. I think he's been consistent over the last couple of years, JR, so I think you got that one right. The big one for me is Adam Tarrant. I think,
he's probably a player I could have had up higher.
Yeah.
I think Adam Tarrant.
Very good footballer.
I think you will before the end of the year.
Oh, I think before the year.
No
but
doubt,
I think most of those guys you just read out, Foxy, out of the 6 games, all of those guys have been in their best 4 times.
Yeah, and that tells the story, doesn't it? It's not as if you're not looking for the star names, you're looking for boys that have played consistent footy.
The blokes said, you got to pick them on form. And there's no better form than being in the best players. And and names to me, well, I don't mean anything. I'm just going on how many times they've been in the best.
Okay, well, I hope you're as surprised as I am by a few of them, I can tell you. I'm really happy that Adam does get the recognition that he does deserve. But the one that I thought last year he was best on the ground in the grand final was Tommy Priest. I'm rapt to see Tom. He's not a big...
He's done some big jobs.
Yeah, he's just a real quality bloke and playing really, really good footy for them.
I think I'll get 50 off his old man too.
And Barker off a half-back flank. Guy, is that where he comes? I know he's from Whittlesea originally, but he plays around half-back.
Yeah, half-back flank, running backman.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, now we're getting into the top echelon players, or into the last 19. Number 19 is Pat Conton from Marupna. Number 18, Andrew Reardon from the Swannings. Number 17, Andrew Bell, the skipper from Euroa. Well done, Belly. Number 16, and what a year this boy's having, Kane Boyer from Marupna. Luke Morris, one of John's great players, and he is a good player too, Luke Morris from Kyabram. Quade Johnson, the Terminator Quade Johnson, he's hard at it, and there's no doubt about that. Does some good stuff for the Swans. Hugh Robertson, arguably, John, I'll ask you in a minute, the most improved footballer in the competition. I think there's merit in it. Billy Burston, the goal sneak from Kai. Daniel Lewis at number 11. So and then we'll get down to our final last 10. Quade Johnson. Yeah, Mario, you see him week in, week out. I really do reckon he is a hard nut.
Yeah, look, Quado keeps working at his game. He's one of those guys, and I think every club's got him. It just thrives on hard work. I reckon he's actually become a bit leaner this year.
Yes, definitely.
And he's picked up that bit of leg speed that he lost there, where he muscled up a bit.
Muscled up too much.
Yeah, and he's really playing good football. But like yourself, Hugh Robinson, you mentioned Hugh Robinson. I'm rapt to see Hugh there. Like, people probably think, well, who is this kid? He's done his apprenticeship over the last 3 or 4 years at Seymour. He's an Assumption boy, played a handful of games in their thirds 3 or 4 years ago, and then straight into the seniors, and gradually centre back now, isn't he, JR?
Playing centre back. He's kicked 3 goals, and he's been in the best 5 times, and he's been terrific.
Johnny, I was just going to say, it's not you're making. This is a qualified selection. I mean, you've seen him play. Would he be the most improved player in the country?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, he'll play in the league.
Yep.
I think that tells you how good the kid's going.
Now, talking of which, Now, guys, your turn to tell us about Bally, Andrew Bell. He's ranked number 17 in the competition. That's a fair accolade for the young man.
Yeah, fair effort for Bally, boys. I gave him a bit of a rap last week on the show too. Been in the best 6 times this year already. So
it's every game.
He's
every game.
Yeah, well, that's a good stat there, Mario. But what he
could have gone up higher too.
What he has done though is getting the captaincy this year has really matured him as a player. I think, boys, he was a mature person, but what I mean is matured as a player. He's taking his game to another level, his fitness to another level, his leadership to another level, and I think, you know, that's really just reward for Bally this year, and well done to him.
I would say if there's one surprise to me, John, and you can quantify this, I'm amazed at Daniel Lewis. You've got him at number 11. Personally, I rank him higher than that.
Yeah, look, well, I think Louis last year, I had him in the first one at 25, if I remember, because I remember a few people giving it to me and I had him at 25. So I think I brought him up a fair bit. He's been in the best 4 times and he's kicked 10 goals. But I think at this stage, that's about where I feel he's at. Louis, you know, he's come up from 25 to 11, so he's come fair way up the charts.
I'm not going to have an argument with you, but Mario, what do you think?
Oh, look, I think Daniel Lewis would be the sort of
I'll tell you what we'll do.
Player you'd always have in your side if you had a choice of picking someone.
When we go through the top 10, you can tell me who can go out.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I have to agree with you, Foxy, because you pay the wages. So.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Well, you can tell me.
Don't you ever forget it. Now, Guy, your thoughts on Daniel? I'm just having a hate session here on JR, that's all.
Yeah, no, I'm probably with JR a little bit.
Well, enough said. Thank you very much for your input. No, why?
Thanks, Guy.
Well, if you pick...
Plays at centre-half forward, gets thrown onto the ball as a ruck rower.
Yeah, no, I agree. I watched Louis last week, and he's a superstar, in the best 4 times and kicked 10 goals. But if you're going on the criteria that JR's just set, you can't go on other years just because he's been... You've got to go on this year's form.
Oh, that's all.
And I think what you've done is picked on this year's form.
On this year's form.
Not to say he's an absolute gun.
On this year's form, he's knocking off a few in the top 10. But anyway,
well, let's go through.
It might be that Marupna thing coming in.
Absolutely.
He hates him.
Now, that's being honest. So you've come out and told him exactly what the problem is. Righto, let's have a look at the top 10. And congratulations if you're lucky enough to be here. Number 10, Sam Martin from Benalla. Number 9, Lockie Smith, Benalla. Number 8, Tim Luby from United. Number 7, Ash Watson from Rochester. Number 6, Justin Madden from the Swans. Number 5, Jason Morgan from Kyabram. So Jason comes in at number 5. Now, these are what we would call the Champagne edition players to JR's list. And look...
No, they're all Champagne from 50 now.
Yeah, all right, okay. Number 4, Brett Meredith from Seymour. Number 3, Nathan Gilliland from Euroa. Number 2, Shane McDonald from Marupna. Number 1, the reigning Morrison medalist, Will Martinello. So congratulations if you're lucky enough to have had your name read out in that top 50. And Johnny, congratulations on, we laugh and take the mickey out of you on one thing or another. It is a tough job, Mario. And when we asked you to do it and you said, no, you can stick it. Well, would you like to explain that? Are you happy with the top 10?
Look, I am. I think if it wasn't for JR's criteria about the reigning medalist on number 1, I reckon Shane McDonald would have given that a big shake. I've seen him a couple of times. He's a sensational footballer. But Will, you've got the medal under your belt there, mate, and you... Worthy number 1. Geez, a good top 10, JR.
Oh, yeah, they're super players. They really are. Look, Nathan Gilliland, 14 goals, been in the best 4 times. We spoke about McDonald. Brett Meredith, what we see him in Interleague playing on a wing. I'd love to see this bloke on a wing. He's just a great player. He plays midfield. He's kicked 9 goals. I've seen him a couple of times his trip. We don't have to talk about Jason Morgan, Justin Madden. He speaks for himself. Ash Watson last week. I think Ash Watson, as good as I've seen him play last week, he was outstanding. That got him into the top 10. Timmy Luby's the superstar. He's been injured, but he's just a great player, along with Lockie Smith and Sam Martin. He's as good a kid as I've seen for a long time. The 2 boys, Sam and James Martin, are very, very good players.
Okay, well, congratulations, as I said, but that will change, and we will do the next top 50 will be released when, John?
The last game. The last footy show.
Yep.
Will be the
and that's when we'll do the top 50 again, and that's one to look forward to. And
just one quick one there, Foxy, for you, JR. Luke Morgan couldn't get a run in the top 50 this year.
No, Lukey. Well, he's been out injured. He's only been the best 2 times, Luke, and he's had injuries, and he's probably looks like being out for a little bit longer. You know, there's a few there. People can talk about Nicky Gray. Well, Nicky Gray's been down at Collingwood. He's a great player, Nick Gray, but he's only been in the best one. Sard hasn't been in the best. Yeah. He hasn't been in the best, so, you know... Nick Warnock. Look, Nick's only been in their best once, and I reckon, you know, he's probably going to play interleague football, Nick Warnock, but I couldn't have him at this stage.
Tyson Sidebottom?
Yeah, Tyson. He's exactly the same as last year, mate. Tyson. He didn't make the top 50 and he finished up making it in the second one. But at this stage, Tyson, he's been struggling a little bit too, Tyson. So, there's a few other big names out there. And what we'd like to know is some people, if they want to email Morph's mailbag and have their opinion on the top 50.
Right. What's your address?
morphsmailbag@gmail.com. I like the criteria though, JR. You're not picking on names, you're picking on your criteria. And that's what I like about
it. You put on the Geelong jumper, you got no hope.
That's it.
You got no hope.
Should be up higher, Daniel.
Right. Hang on, you 2 heroes didn't give me the bloke you're going to take out to put him in the top 10.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because point number one, you'd end up... say, for example...
Quick to pot him, though.
And unlike JR, who has a history of knifing people, no, we don't do that.
We don't do that. I'm wrapped in the top 10, Johnny, if you want to know the truth, but you've missed out on one. And I'll bet you we get emails to that effect. Foxy is right.
Correct.
Anyway, particularly the people from Maribna. Anyway, let's have a look at this before we go on. We're going to get into...
We're going to go into league now?
Yes. John,
okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine. Because I thought you were having a break, but you're not.
No.
A cup of tea or scone?
Yeah.
Now, before we talk about the side, people will be saying, how come he's not in the side and one thing and another? Let me tell you, I'll go through the players that are out. Shane McDonald's out. Matt Pollock's out with a hamstring. I think Shane's going to a wedding.
Yes.
Right. Simon Buckley, wedding. Tim Bongetti is at a hamstring. Shane Neves.
Overseas.
Georgie Burberry.
Hamstrings.
Billy Burston.
Back and knees.
Adam One-Way Tarrant.
Yeah, very disappointed. Really wanted to play. Didn't think he was going to make it and set up to go somewhere.
Luke Morgan, injured. Daniel Lewis.
Injured.
Number 3. Pat Conton.
Will be playing in the VFL.
And Brent Colbert.
Yes, also injured, and there could be Lockie Smith also, Foxy.
Now, a little bit of a...
takes a fair hole in your side, does it not?
Yeah, my word. Just some of the homework that John does behind the scenes, let me tell you that there are as many as 9 players out from last year's side at interleague level, and they include Luke Morgan, Brendan Hollows, Willie Hayes, Dan Lovick, Brad Henderson, Daniel Lewis, Matt Pollock, Brodie Avard. And I understand he might be a late inclusion in that boy there.
Well, Dan Lovick, he's actually playing, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's probably against us.
But for the opposition.
Yeah, for the opposition.
I don't know whether he is or isn't at this stage. Time will tell. Now, another interesting stat is the last time we played Geelong, and they resoundingly beat us, the boys that are missing from that side are Luke Morgan, Simon Seddon, James Brain, Brady Green. I see James Brain has been selected in the O&M representative side. Paul Newman, Brendan Hollows, Sammy Vale, Dan Lovick, Link Wellington, Simon Buckley, James Wall, Tommy Miller, Tommy Sullivan, Paul Kirby, Matty O'Keefe, Tommy Durwood, Daniel Lewis and Matt... you've got him written down twice.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, that one could change a bit there, Foxy. But that's another thing.
That's nearly the whole. That's nearly your whole starting side. 17 people.
Yeah, there are some amazing. There's some amazing.
All the best, Travis.
It just shows you how much it does change, and there's no doubt Geelong would have the same scenario too. Boys.
But I think, yeah. Well, of course they would, and I understand that the O&M have been fairly harshly dealt with.
But I think it's a good point to bring up in that a lot of people think, it's the same players every year that will get represented. Well, if you go back to that Geelong game, there's actually only 6 players that are still in the squad from 2 years ago. So that shows that the selectors are looking around, playing players in form, aren't they?
There's 14 boys from last year that are still in the squad.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing is that's 13 players that you've said on the injured list, Foxy.
Yep.
Those 13 players would have played. Golden Valley Interleague.
There's no doubt about it.
Every one of those blokes would have played Interleague. But what it does do, it gives 13 other players a chance.
It's opportunity.
It's an opportunity for these blokes to have a go. Now, you can sit here and you can whinge and moan about having those 13 top liners out, but let's have a look at the 13 they bring in, and you know, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, John, you've got probably, I'll let you read it out because you're more conversant with it, the boys that have made the side.
Well, at this stage, Foxy, I think I'll just give you the squad. I think, boys, I reckon it'll be Andrew Reid. That was a footy.
Just a footy hitting the...
Tim Levy's just having a kick of the footy, the frightness on the footy.
I'll tell you what he did, because I've just dropped the footy behind me.
A chuckle in. I reckon we might need the jumper leads to give Fox a bit of a kickstart.
And I reckon I've just risen an inch off this chair.
I played pass the parcel one out.
Anyway, we'll go back to it again.
Good on you, Tim. Thanks for that, Lubes.
Good on you, Lubes. Hope they don't make that rat captain.
No, I was going to say something.
You're going to read the squad out.
If I could slow me heart down, I'd support you.
I'll just read this squad out. Andrew Reardon, Shepparton Swire. We won't go through the clubs. Andrew Reardon, Jason Morgan, Tommy Sheldon, Adam Pashesky, Hugh Robinson, Brett Meredith, Will Martinello, Jamison Daniels, Nathan Gilliland, Timmy Luby, Lukey Morris, Stephen Strubent, Justin Madden, Daniel Willis, Ash Holland, Quade Johnson, Sammy Martin, Justin Shermer, Nick Gray, Nick Warnock, Liam Ogden, Jake Paul Pratt and Matty O'Keefe. I think boys might be a chance to come in. Late entrance with Lockie Smith probably going out. So I think that could be the way it is at this stage, boys.
Well, Guy, I don't know how much GVFL footy you've seen in the last couple of years, but Travis has done a really remarkable job this year. He's certainly up against it. They're a quality unit, the Geelong Football League. With those names, what do you think will be an asset for the Golden Valley Footy League?
Oh, look, I mean, I've seen enough footy in the last 2 years, and what Travis, the job he would be doing would be massive. He would have a big as headache as the old man here doing the top 50. But, look, I think now with modern day football, you know, we just spoke about the players that have gone out and the players that have come in. You prepare yourself properly. The coach, I mean, really at interleague level, all he's really doing is managing the elite players of our league. So what he's going to be doing is giving probably 4 or 5 basic messages. You know, we play a high-intensity running game now, and I think Geelong will be very similar. You know, he'll be putting his charges out there and letting them do what they do best. That's what I would have thought.
Mario, I know it's only been at the under-18 level, but the preparation's still the same. They're young men, the same attitudes, they're just a little bit younger. How do you go about? Well, tell us how you unite the boys with the challenge ahead.
Look, I think the common connection for all these boys is the jumper, is the elite jumper that they're lucky enough to wear. It's a privilege for them and it's an honour, and you know they don't throw them out. You know you don't just walk in and grab a jumper and you're playing interleague. These blokes have earned their spot, and over a period of 2 training sessions they come together. It's amazing how they come together. They have a level of professionalism that they share amongst themselves as a team. These guys would all be the best presented footballers in their clubs. They would do everything that's needed to get themselves on the ground every week in, week out, rehab, you know, the rehab stuff, the physio stuff, they get all that out the road. So what we know we're getting out there is a squad of professional players in the sense of...
Well, you don't have to coach them, Mario, do you?
No. And the level of experience here, let's not underestimate the GB squad here. There's
absolutely.
A lot of guys in this squad who have had VFL experience.
Yes.
There's Justin Sherman and Jamison Daniels who have had, you know, fairly recent AFL experience at that club level. So there's some
Nicky Gray.
Yeah, there's some really level heads out there.
I think the good thing about it too, boys, is we've got sort of experience, they're not old, but we've also got some young blokes in there, 19, 20, 21. It's going to be an enormous experience, like for Lukey Morris, Ashley Holland, players like this, and you know, even Jake Paul Pratt and these sort of players. It's going to be a great experience for these kids.
Mario, is it something you've coached at interleague level already? Is that something, you know, you really drum in those values to them, say at training 1, you really drum into them and say, you know, this is an honour. It's kind of like the state of origin for AFL level for us. Yeah. This is an honour to be playing and representing not only your club but the Golden Valley.
Yeah, look, I know that it is spoken about, but only in the first instance, and then players like Luby and that they take over, they live it, they drive it. Paul Newman did the same, and you know, you just need the glare from Luby or Paul Newman back then to know that you haven't gone hard enough.
I was fortunate enough to be involved, like as an assistant coach or a selector of interleague for 5 or 6 years. And I think what you're saying there, Murray, is right. When you got to training, you just looked at those blokes. You didn't have to say them. Now, I went down to Seymour last week, Foxy, and I watched training. The ball never hit the ground. It was just super to watch. And you don't have to say much to these blokes because they want to be and they want to do well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, John, you talk about Tim Luby. Now, with Tim Luby, and we all know it, you either love him or you hate him. If you're an opposition side, you know, I know I don't blame people either, but from where we sit in the media, on the outside looking in, I think he's just an absolute superstar. But to quote a boy that played Interleague footy last year, Matt Pollock, and I was talking with Matt on the weekend, as I said, and I'm telling you right now, you could take his arm off to run out on that side on Saturday. But he said, you know, I couldn't get over the fact that what he thought about some of those blokes when they're on opposition sides. But when he said Tim Luby is just one of the all-time great blokes.
Oh, they make friends for life. And the thing about this also, Foxy and Boy, is these young blokes, they're going to be showcased. You know, they'll be recruiting. This is where it's disgusting. They're not having an under-18 game. To me, that is just absolutely disgusting. That's a showcase for those under-18 kids to be put out there, Foxy, to be put on the big stage. And they could get recruited from these games. I know players that have. So to not having an under-18 game, to me, is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. It's pretty poor.
Oh, it's poor. It is poor.
You just said that there will be recruiters around, and not to be showcasing our next up-and-coming junior, you know, our next AFL players potentially, and Mario would know.
Well, he's been involved for years and he understands it.
I think that really next year, that has to be looked at seriously.
Oh, big time. If it's not, you might as well wipe one.
Yeah, look, I think there's been a fair bit said about it, and even, you know, Norm Gillespie in our community here has written his thoughts down in letters to the newspapers. But Norm. It's disappointing. I know that Jason Wells and myself and, you know, the coaching group we had, the work that goes into it is enormous, and the satisfaction you get out of seeing those 24, 25 odd players just progress through, and some of them then go on and play bush rangers, some of them go down to BFL, some of them play senior football. Well, you know, that opportunity for this year, that door has been closed.
Exactly.
I just we're just about coming to the end of the show, but I do want to thank George Moore and his committee at the United Football Club. They've given us the rooms tonight, and George, you left the bar open, and John Ryan's been just drinking.
And it's good.
Haig doesn't drink beer, but he found the top shelf stuff, and we don't know what time. If you just boot him on Saturday morning.
Well, we can keep the show going for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then when we're hoping that Jackie Sheldon turns up with his 2 3-wheelers that he had in the...
that way, Andy.
Johnny.
Yeah.
No, get on to that.
But anyway, don't forget, if you've got any comments on the top 50,
you certainly do.
It's very hard
If you've got any comments, don't send them to Moore's
Send them in, because I'll tell you what, the K9 Award, J.R. Ryan.
And Foxy, don't forget, this week, if you can't get to the big game,
just about to tell everybody that live stream football is alive in the Valley this week, and you can watch it in metropolitan Melbourne. You can watch it in country Victoria, anywhere. You can watch it all over Australia.
China.
If you happen to be in China on the weekend, you can say hello, Joel.
Ni hao.
Can you get the GV? Can you get the GV on the TV? And he'll say yes. All you got to do is go to the Golden Valley website, Sporting Pulse. In you go into the system homepage. Go to the menu, come down, and you'll hit broadcast. Goes to broadcast, and when you get to broadcast, you'll see it right there. Live streaming of the football.
I'll be there.
The broadcast starts at 11 o'clock.
I'll be
involved in the Mighty Cobram District League, and looking forward to your company on Saturday live. Until next week.
Hang on, just before we go. Sorry, David, for the viewers out there, we must not forget there's a big occasion on this Saturday too.
Very big.
Apart from Interleague footy.
Oh, there's a big occasion, Mario.
Our big Papa Bear's birthday.
Big Papa's birthday.
If you see Big Papa, come up and give him a big kiss and say, we love you, Davey Wavy.
And I'll tell you what, I know now that all of you, Liam does work. Have a look at him for 71. He's doing okay.
He's doing all right, isn't he?
He's doing all right.
Above his average.
Yeah.
And say goodbye to the last time to this little rat here. And we'll see you on Saturday. Bye-bye for now.